be here for you guys
Again?
in these time of needs.
That's right.
With this crazy season that's going on.
COVID.
Fantasy Expertz.
Mm-hmm.
Got your back.
Back to the house.
Exactly. We got 2 segments for you. What it is, Mariano, tell them the segments.
Start 'em, sit 'em, like we do every week. And then the next one is going to be trade bait. So who can we dangle out there to strengthen our team for the final stretch of the season? So we are almost halfway through the year, and that's what we're going for, is the trade bait. Who can we get to strengthen our team, whether it's a flex, another running back, maybe it's a backup quarterback, whatever it may be. We're going to try to present some players that you could use as trade bait to get whatever you need for your team.
Yeah, so in case you guys didn't know, this is technically like the halfway point in the season, right?
Yeah.
So we have 7 games left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to make that push and get those wins to get into the playoff, you know?
Yes, sir.
So these trades right now at this point are vital. And I think the trade deadline should be within the next 2 weeks or so. Right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Depends on the league because your commissioner could change it. But I think standard is like around week 9, week 10, somewhere around there. That's when the trade deadline cuts. So this is an important segment for you guys so you can get ahead of the, what's it called? The curve. The curve, right? Get ahead of the curve. Get ahead of the curve so that you're only trying to make no last minute trades and it doesn't go through, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But yeah, let's get it started, Mariano. Kick it off with the stardom sit-em, man.
Yeah, so my first stardom, I got Chase Claypool.
My boy.
Shout out to Vic.
My dog.
That boy called it out very, very early in the season. Last week he had 4 targets, 74 yards, 16 points in a half PPR league. So again, he's been rocking and rolling. He had a rushing touchdown the week before. He's going to get his touches moving forward. He may very well be the new AB.
Mapletron?
Yeah, Mapletron. Mapletron.
I like it.
Very well may be the new AB for Pittsburgh. So yeah.
I like it.
Chase Claypool.
All right, moving on. I got one of Mariano dogs as my stardom, DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
You know, he had his coming out party last week. You know, he was riding my bench in another league. You know, that's a different story. We started Damian Harris over him. Ooh,
it's okay. One. It's all right, man. It's all right, man.
But yeah, he put up 27 points in PPR last week. And he's going up against an atrocious Atlanta defense, so he should eat again this week, for sure.
That's what I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
And either way, I got him in both the leagues, so we need to rock and roll.
Need him.
My second one is Stephon Diggs. So you guys know very well, if you've been following us, that we shit on Miami and also the Jets, right? The Buffalo Bills are playing the Jets this week.
Blowout City.
And Stephon Diggs hasn't scored less than 12 points in a half PPR league all year.
It's very consistent.
Yeah, if he's in a PPR league, is way more than 12. You know what I mean? So he's been balling. He seems to be the top target for Josh Allen. And I do expect Josh Allen to obviously bounce back against the Jets this week. So.
Even Josh Allen had 2 bad weeks, but he still put up over 20 points. So.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Dude's a stud. Fantasy stud, for sure.
Exactly. Going on to my next stardom, I have Travis Fulgham over there in, I was going to say Seattle, over there in Philly. Birds. They're both birds.
That's right. Bird.
Bird
to the third.
You know, the targets have been consistent for, I think it's the last 4 weeks that he started and he's been getting off. This man has been getting the touches. He's been getting, I think he has at least 40 touches or close to 40 touches in the last 4 starts.
Yeah, that's stellar.
He's been getting over 10 points, which is, I don't know what else you could ask from a wide receiver. I mean, especially in a PPR league, he's getting more.
Yeah.
And we know he could do it. He performed well against a good defense in Baltimore last week. So, if the Eagles are smart, they're going to keep him in the lineup. I was talking to you about this earlier, you know.
From practice squad to balling on Sunday.
That boy is making the most of his opportunity.
Yep.
And if the Eagles are smart, they're going to keep him in the lineup.
Yeah. We'll see.
Hopefully. Sometimes football is politics, though.
Yeah, I think this is Doug Peterson's last shot, man.
Yeah.
You got to finish the season strong if he wants to keep his job. So, he's got the right thing going on, he'd keep him in there.
Yeah.
For my next one, I got DeAndre Swift. So we already kind of touched on that. Atlanta has given up the 9th most fantasy points to running backs this season. So since we already touched on that, I'll go to the next one. Atlanta has also, I found this crazy stat that they've also given up the 9th most points to wide receivers as well.
So it's 9th for both?
Yeah, 9th for both, which was weird. I had to double check that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but Kenny Galladay, I'd start Kenny Galladay this week. Really moving forward, whoever plays Atlanta, you got to start them.
Yeah.
They're just a troubled team.
They're playing third stringers, bro. They're so depleted on that team. It's just a bad situation.
Yeah, it's rough for them, for sure.
Going on to my next stardom, I have Robert Tonyan over there in Green Bay.
Okay.
I wrote this before he had a questionable ankle injury. So that's a little bit alarming.
Did you see that? His foot got stuck in the turf and
That's what Aaron Rodgers always complains about that field. He says that field's trash, and he blames his performance on the field too. I was watching the Pat McAfee podcast, and he was talking about. He said, it might have been the field. He's had issues with that field before. He says,
"Okay,
I don't know, A-Rod. He got blown out there." Yeah. But I did like Tonyan when I wrote this.
Yeah.
The ankle injury was not.
I mean, you talk about probably the biggest sleeper of the season, though.
Yeah.
Tonyan came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know nothing about him.
He had a bad week last week, but I don't think it's on him. I still think he's a good tight end, and he should bounce back against the atrocious Texans defense.
Yeah.
Being that he's healthy. So.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. For my last one, I got Teddy Bridgewater. So Teddy Bridgewater is going up against the Saints this week. It's a divisional game, so the Saints may come to play. But this week I really dove into who's given up the most points halfway through the year. And the Saints have given up the second most points to quarterbacks this year. So Teddy Bridgewater this week, I'm starting him, especially if you have a bye like Lamar Jackson this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'd pick him up if you can.
This is a side note, I don't have it on my list, but Matt Stafford, we were talking about earlier,
yes,
has an extremely good matchup, and we talked about it right here. The Lions are going up against a depleted Falcons secondary.
Mm-hmm. I picked him up.
Don't the Falcons give up the most points to quarterbacks? Correct?
Falcons do give up the most points to quarterbacks, yes.
So Matt
Saints
Stafford.
are second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matt Stafford is a good side start. That wasn't on my list. It was just came to me right now. I just gave it to you.
Came to you because I showed you my lineup this week.
I have Matt Stafford too, sir.
Okay.
So remember, there's two experts here, buddy.
Okay.
I'll show you guys my lineup to prove it too.
Okay. All right.
I'm starting him.
Put it right here.
I'll go.
We want proof.
I'll put it up to the
Call
camera.
Dick out. We want proof, man.
All right. Going on to my last stardom, I have it's the easy one. It's the gimme. It's the Bills defense going up against the Jets.
The Bulls defense?
Yeah, the Bulls. I got Bulls written down over here. I'm wearing a Bulls jersey.
Got
I didn't. That's totally unplanned. Bulls.
Okay.
Wow. Look, it's a sidekick or something. It's an old D Rose jersey I got for $20 after he left the Bulls.
There you go. I like it. It's fresh though. It's fresh.
But Jets are bottom in the league of scoring, and that's all I have to say. Bills got a solid defense, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Now we are on to the second segment, which is sit 'em. For my first one, I'm sitting AJ Brown this week. I got him in one of my leagues, and it's mostly just for the matchup against the Steelers. If you guys watched the Steeler game last week,
Clamped the Browns.
Clamped them, man.
Clamped
so again, this defense is legit. So I would not start AJ Brown this week.
Mm-hmm. Going on to my first sit-em, I have Damian Harris. Like I said, I started him last week. Fucked me over. He had a great first week performance that he came out right.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, he went up against a good run defense. And this week, he's going to go up against another good run defense in the 49ers. They give up the second least fantasy points to running backs. So that's not a good matchup. So let's not start Damian Harris this week.
Yeah, and since we're on the subject of Patriots, my next one is Cam Newton.
Ooh.
Again, they're playing the Niners this week. Cam, maybe he was a little rusty from being on the COVID IR. But again, when I watched him throw the football, it looked like he was shot putting the football. It looked like back when he was dealing with those shoulder problems and shoulder issues. So last week the Niners clamped Jared Goff and the Rams. So I would kind of expect the same this week. The Niners have still a solid defense even without Bosa, so.
I was just surprised the way they clamped the Rams because they just got blown out and everything. I was like,
I know.
Man.
Well, I think it was mostly because they were embarrassed, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they got blew out against the Jets, and they needed an awakening.
Yeah. They did a great job, though.
A little self-reflection.
Yeah. Going on to my next sit, I have CeeDee Lamb. This is strictly in standard, though.
Yeah.
I'd still flex him out in a PPR league.
Yeah.
But until the Red Rifle figures it out, man, he just looks so ugly.
The red BB gun?
Looking like the red BB gun.
Right.
But I just don't have faith in the standard league starting him. I don't have faith right now until Andy Dalton figures it out. But in PPR, he has some flex value.
All right. For my next one, it's Darrell Henderson Jr. So the Bears have given up 11 fewest points to running backs in 2020. The Bears are playing solid football right now. They're winning games.
I don't know how.
I know, man. Isn't it bizarre? Like,
so weird.
I remember looking at this the record, and I'm like, man, they're really 5-1 right now. So they're playing
soft 5-1 though.
They're soft 5-1, but I think the defense is really carrying them.
Yeah.
They're a bend but don't break defense.
Yeah.
And Darrell Henderson, I'm setting him this week for sure.
Moving on to my next sit-em, I'm going with Kenyon Drake over there in Arizona. So Seattle has only had 3 rushing touchdowns scored on them the whole season, and they've held running backs like Zeke and Todd Gurley in check. And Kenyon Drake is no Zeke or Todd Gurley.
No.
I think his breakout performance was due to playing a horrible defense in Dallas. Like I said, I don't like Kenyon Drake for the whole season. I said he's at most a flex play to me.
Yeah.
So I don't see him doing good against the Seattle defense.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. My next sit-em this week is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So Denver has given up the fewest points to running backs in 2020. I expect that to continue. Pat Mahomes is going to ball out. They don't have to run the football, and I don't think they're really going to make much of an effort. Again, they may get the run game established, and moving forward, I think that this may very well be the last game that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is getting a ton of touches just because of Le'Veon.
Might go into a because last week we already saw, what was it, Damien or Darryl? I forgot which one. He got a touchdown, right? He saw a touchdown from him.
Right.
And now that we have Le'Veon Bell in the mix, it's looking like it might go into one of those fucked up
kind of like Ravens scenario, backfield scenario.
Exactly. So, it's definitely that. And I think last week attributed all his carries were attributed to the rain. I think that's what made the game plan go into a run-heavy offense.
Yeah.
So, definitely sit his ass.
Sit that boy.
Going on to my next sit-em, I have Jared Goff. He was on my stardom list last week.
My last one, man.
Oh, let's go, man.
Let's go.
On the same wavelengths, man.
Yeah. We did do this at 2 different times, too.
We did.
Like always.
He was on my stardom list last week because I thought he was going up against a defense that just got punched in the gut and they were down, and I thought he was going to put up, because previously the week before that he put up 29 points. So like, all right, he's going up against a defeated defense right now. He's going to go up and put up another 25,
Against the Niners, right?
Yeah, and they clamped him last week. And then he's going up against a good defense this week who doesn't give up that many points to the quarterback.
Speaking of, the Bears defense has given up the fewest points to quarterbacks this season. That's a fact, my friend. That is a fact.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. And that was my last one, man.
All right, well, I got another one. I got another segment for you guys.
Come on, rock it.
It's the Pittsburgh defense.
Ooh, sitting them?
Yeah, you're sitting them, man. I know they clamped Baker Mayfield, but I don't know. Tannehill's like on fire right now, man.
And they didn't have no Derrick Henry. The King Henry.
Exactly.
In the backfield.
That opens up that play action tremendously. And they have a lot of weapons on that offense. Tannehill's playing out of his mind, even though they had their facilities shut down and everything. He's like, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm balled out still.
He was well rested, man. That's
very well rested.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna sit the Pittsburgh defense this week.
Pittsburgh defense. Going for the sit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We are on to the last segment, which is trade bait. So who can we dangle out there to the rest of our opponents in our league to strengthen our team, right? So go ahead and start it, Vic.
Yeah,
I'll let you run this one.
My first one is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and we talked about it earlier. It's probably that last week was probably the last good game he'll have, especially it might go into a running back by committee situation. It was attributed to the weather. Previously, he had only one good game before that, which was week 1. It's not a situation you want to be in, especially a lot of people drafted him early. So if you could get something now, get something now.
Yeah, I mean that's my number one. So I think he was plagiarizing and looking at my screen.
Even though I finished my stuff before he did.
Either way, man, this motherfucker looking at my shit. So Le'Veon poses as a serious threat. When he was in Pittsburgh with a good team, he could catch the ball, he could block, he could run, he's patient. It's going to be a serious threat moving forward to Clyde Edwards-Helaire's stock. So again, I would try to get rid of him this week and maybe swap for a top tier receiver or something.
Going on to my next. Oh no, you didn't even do one, right? You just touched on.
Yeah, I just touched on it.
We're going to second one and then.
Yeah, my next one is Julio Jones. So Julio Jones is coming off the biggest game of the season, and again, I like to see consistency. He's getting up there. He's battling injuries all season long. You just can't depend on him week in and week out. So try to get someone that is a little more consistent than Julio.
Especially when you got Calvin Ridley over there stealing all the touchdowns. It's just bad news for him.
Bad news, Jones.
Going on to my next, I was gonna say sit on next trade bait. I have Travis Fulgham over there in Philadelphia. I touched on him earlier. I said if the Eagles are smart, they're going to keep him in the rotation. And that's one of the things that worries me about him. Because in football, sometimes it's politics, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
And the starters who were previously starters keep their job, and then he might get reverted to 4th string, 5th string. But this guy produces. When he's on the field, he does the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to deal with having a dud after he's been balling like that. So
right.
He has the production. He'll have the production this week. This week is probably like going to be his last week where he's going to put up numbers. But yeah, if you could get something right now or after this week or this weekend, because from here on out, the Eagles might fuck up and do some dumb shit and not start him. So
yeah, that's the fear, because right now they're battling injuries. I seen that Deshaun Jackson is scheduled to come back soon. So again, that I just really the only thing that I could see happening in a bad way is if the coaching staff really blows it and just stops playing the kid.
Yeah.
Even though he's got the hot hand, I don't envision that happening. But again, the Eagles have made terrible decisions up to this point, so we can't put it past them to just think that Fulgham's going to be, a vital point to the offense moving forward. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one as well.
So on a high note, if you do have him, if you don't trade him away, if he keeps on producing, good for you. But if you do trade him away, you'll probably get a decent.
You'll probably get something back really good right now.
Exactly.
You know, especially with the production that he's been putting out week in and week out. For my next one is Ryan Tannehill. Now, honestly, I tried to swap him for a running back or a wide receiver. He's had back-to-back 30-point games in a half PPR league.
Man's balling.
He's balling out right now. King Henry's balling out. He had a 200-yard rushing game last week. And those two, they work so well together. Ryan Tannehill is probably the best play-action quarterback at the moment in the league.
Money.
And that's all that they're doing, man. They're running the play-action, hitting them over the top.
Yeah.
And so forth, you know. So
yeah, that's a good one because sometimes that offense gets so run heavy that Tannehill just doesn't have to do much.
Exactly.
Like I remember last season towards the end he didn't do much. I had him. It's like damn, putting up like what 15, 17, like that's not enough, especially for a playoff push. You don't want that from your quarterback. So right now that he's on fire, definitely get what you can get for him. It's a good one, Mariano. Going on to my next one, I have Justin Jackson from the Chargers. He is going to be the back that gets all the carries. He had, I think, 68% of the touches last week. He's going to be the Eckler replacement for right now. So get him to the Eckler owner or get him to somebody that needs a running back because he'll be a productive running back up until week 10, I believe, 10, 11-ish when Eckler comes back. So your best bet will probably be getting him to the Eckler owner or someone that desperately needs a running back.
Yeah, so Justin Jackson racked up 94 scrimmage yards on 20 touches in the last game with Austin Eckler sideline. So he's going to get majority of the touches moving forward as long as Austin Eckler is sitting on the sideline. So that's a great call. Great call, Vic.
Especially this week going up against the Jags.
Yeah, I mean, he only put up 11 points in the half PPR league, 11.9 to be exact. So maybe if he has more production against Jacksonville, or against New Orleans 2 weeks ago.
That was 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
This week.
Yeah, he's got Jacksonville coming up this week. He's only projected 9.23 points in a half PPR.
I think he goes over that, though.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, that's the best thing that could happen for his stock as well, is if he just balls out against Jacksonville, against a not-so-good defense, and then you can probably get more in return after this following week.
Exactly.
Yeah. My next one is Raheem Mostert. You just can't stay healthy, man. I mean, as I mentioned earlier in fantasy, you want to really rely on consistency for these last few weeks following the season, especially with the playoff push and hopefully to the championship as well.
Yep.
You just cannot rely on Mostert and honestly the whole 49ers backfield completely. You know,
such a rotating
carousel.
One week it was Jeff Wilson, one week it was McKinnon, one week it might be Tasty or whatever.
Yeah.
This week,
it's Tasty. You hungry?
Tasty. I don't know what his name is. But yeah, they rotate back so much over there. It's crazy.
Yeah, big time, man. Big time.
Going on to my last one, I have Amari Cooper, and Mariano was saying that is it standard or half PPR?
Yeah.
The numbers don't look that great. However, in PPR, if you have him, the numbers look amazing. He's only had one bad game, which was a 4-point game. So if you have him in a PPR league, get rid of him right now because, the red BB gun isn't doing it. He has to figure it out. He hasn't started in a while, so he has rust on him. That offense doesn't look the same without Dak. They're not putting up those big points like they used to. They used to get down the field so fast. So PPR, Amari Cooper has some value still. He still has a lot of good games behind him. So try to sell him. Try to get rid of him right now and get a decent flex or a decent running back if you can,
Yeah, I think a lot of people view Amari as a starting wide receiver, maybe a 2, even a flex. But if you looked at 2 weeks ago, this dates back to even when he was a Raider. He'll just disappear, man. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Against the New York Giants, he only had 4 targets, 2 receptions for 23 yards. And that's just not going to cut it, man. I mean, you just cannot disappear, especially in the second half of the season. Moving forward, he's got a relatively easy schedule. Now, we know that the East is a horrible division. So he's got Washington, Philly, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Washington again. And then he hits a little rough patch. He's got Baltimore, Cincinnati, San Francisco, Philly, and then the Giants again. So again, I can almost guarantee he's going to disappear probably 3 out of those last 6 games or so.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can get something good in return for Amari Cooper, jump all over it. Rock and roll, man.
That's all I got from my trade bait. So you got left?
That's it, man. You took my last one too.
Took the last one. I plagiarized.
Plagiarism. Plagiarism at its finest. Victor plagiarized.
That's it. That's all we got for that segment, right?
Yeah. That's it.
That wraps up. That wraps it up for
Yeah.
That wraps it up for this week, you guys. This is week 7, right?
Yep. Week 7. This was a pretty quick episode, so hopefully you guys liked it. It's quick, short, sweet,
Straight to the point.
straight to the point. You know what I mean?
I think the week 9 episode is going to be more in depth because that's the halfway,
Yeah.
like the halfway point of the season. Or we could even do it next week. We could do a halfway point.
Yeah.
Depends, because the way the fantasy season works out, you know. But definitely stay tuned because there's so much changed within days. Like the Raiders, freaking their whole O-line
Yeah.
might have COVID, you know. So stuff just changes so dramatically.
Very, very quick.
This is a season you got to be on shit. Like keep your ESPN updated. Like read as much as you can, and just stay on top of stuff.
And what I was kind of thinking, just to preview next week, I haven't even ran this by you, Vic, so we'll kind of just freestyle this.
I like surprises.
And see how you feel about this. But I was thinking about maybe posting a questionnaire on Instagram.
Oh, Q&A?
A Q&A,
Yeah.
and just kind of go through. So maybe we'll do that for the 3rd segment. Normally we go start them, sit them, and then we'll do like a questionnaire. Maybe we'll do like a 10-question Q&A and see what you guys think of that. So moving forward, maybe we'll get you guys a little more involved, get a little more personal in your own individual teams.
Put you guys on the podcast, like in a little.
Yeah, exactly. Put your little ad, your handle, and get you a little something.
Make
and then
you guys celebrities too.
Yeah. You can put some selfies on there, whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just include your bitch in there too. You know? No, just playing.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. All right, so that's all we got for this week. We appreciate everyone rocking with us. You know, the numbers don't lie. I asked you guys to help spread it and tell other people, and the numbers don't lie. The Stardom Sit-In video had like the most views it's had, close to 100 views. So I appreciate you guys listening to me. I feel like I have a voice amongst the fantasy community.
Absolutely, man.
You know, that's great. The subscribers have been a little steady, so if we could work on that, you know, tell your homies or whatever, you know, share the channel, do what you got to do. I know I help a lot of you. I say this a lot of times. I help a lot of you fuckers within the week, and you guys don't subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna stop doing these fucking videos if you guys don't subscribe to the channel.
For real.
Stop answering questions. I'm like, y'all gonna be like, yo, bruh, subscribe.
Subscribe.
You know
Hook a brother up. One last thing. Shout out to our boy Kevin Higgins. It's his birthday today.
Oh, yes,
I'm
sir.
rocking the Embrace Prodigy. This is his brand.
Yes, sir.
So support the homies, support your friends, and don't ask for a discount.
Nope.
All right. Pay full price for your friends, man. That's the biggest thing.
Support your local businesses too.
Support your local businesses.
Because the big corporations have enough money.
Exactly. You don't need to be rocking all that Gucci and all that stuff like that, man. Support your friends. Biggest
Support your local podcast too.
local podcast. Hey, can't forget about that, right? Cannot forget about that.
Hell yeah. All right, you guys. It's been a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Fantasy Experts, we out.
Later.